You are listening to the Milan Weekly Podcast, the English voice of Radio Rossonera and Milan fans all over the world.
Sensational from him. Rafael Leao produces a moment of utter magic.
Teo Hernandez al volo! Teo Hernandez! Ancora lui! Una meraviglia!
Ibrahimovic! Zlatan Ibrahimovic! Fuori classe assoluto!
Alessandro saying that the music got him paranoid. Wow, serious music from Jamie. Senza Fini or fellow brother Jan giving us the war drums to start it off, Steve. We got some fans out there. The waiting. We're 16 already live watching. Good evening, Mr. Stevie P.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
We're just going to give it a couple of seconds, guys. We're going to get started to talk this because that's what we do. You know, even when there's no Milan, Steve, we're here. We don't take days off. No days off. So whenever you're ready, Steve, because, you know, we can't play music anymore because since we're close to that 1,000, you know, they're watching us.
And it's important to get to that 1,000.
Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast. Here we talk everything Milan, even when Milan doesn't play. We talk Milan. We'll do maybe a new little segment today, Milan, and when we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be.
Good evening to all, to Mohammed, to Jamie, to Alessandro, to Edwin, Anthony, Alex, everybody there on the YouTube, and thanks for you guys always constantly watching. And I just want to take a little time, Steve, like we like to do here in the beginning. Thank you to our 3 new patrons, Erzving, Nahar, Paulie from last week. Thank you guys so very much. I know we had a little special there on Sunday at noon. Steve was trying to help out the European guys. Talked a bit about the news, but thank you very much for supporting us, paying for all this kind of stuff. We really enjoy it. And we tried something new as well today, but Steve, only one patron sent us a voice note as a question, but we're gonna get to that. But other than that, Steve, a quick thank you to everybody that Forza Italia Football, Radio Rossonera tweeted us, Steve. I saw that saying give these guys a listen. But anybody off the top of your head who's giving thanks?
Massimo and his Facebook pages on AC Milan, always a great help, sharing, and everybody just sharing with your friends, making sure that our YouTube channel hits that 1,000 mark and more, right? So we're here for you guys. We love doing it. It's it's a couple of minutes of peace and quiet and serenity for me. Yes, I'm screaming most of the time, or I'm yelling at someone. But for me, it's peace and serenity. So thank you again, and let's get it on. Let's go.
Let's get it on, and let's take it through a couple of news, Steve. We did talk about it on Sunday with a couple of the guys, but Pioli having COVID, it's become I don't know, like, Steve, how did you take it? Like, we were just discussing it. We were just like, okay, he's got COVID. I guess he's gonna stay home, and Ibra's gonna take his rightful place as assistant coach, but. Is it sad that we're in this day and age? Well, it's so sad to say in this day and age that only after 7-8 months of this COVID pandemic that, okay, Pioli's got COVID, he's no symptoms, and the show must go on?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's where we're at. We knew that this pandemic was something serious. It was something that it was going to play a big factor in the season. And now we know it's going through the teams, right? We had the Croatian come off at halftime over the weekend, which was something very strange. But guys, this is what it's going to be. We said this campeonato, these 38 games that we're going to embark on is going to be a marathon. It's not going to be a sprint. And there's going to be things that are going to happen like this. And for Milan, to be very honest, to knock on wood, I can't say that it's come at good times. There's never a good time to get something like this. But during an international break, you're going to lose your coach for one game. And you know what? these people have to count themselves lucky, right? Because there's people out there that are getting this disease and they're getting it with symptoms and they're suffering, and some are passing away and they're losing family members. So I hope it brings them into some sort of a perspective of life and how lucky that they are and how lucky that we are, that it's not affecting us as serious as some other people. So for me, the show must go on because sports has decided to go on with this, right? So FIFA with the Nations Cup decided to go on. Champions League is going on. The leagues are going on. So if the leagues are going on, for us, unfortunately, it's not to be rude or it's not to be insensitive to these things, but
we're not taking it we're not taking it lightly. We understand that. But Steve, on that note, and I wanted to take you from one of Sports Media Set's on the front page. La posizione d'Alpino, la Serie A non si fermerà anche con un lockdown nazionale. So basically saying Serie A will not stop even with a national lockdown. For me, Steve, I take this as I'm going to take this as my Birioshki of the week. This made me feel good. This made me feel good because in a way, other than telling fans not to come into the stands anymore, but I think everybody kind of realizes, and I'm not saying Serie A is the top of the list, but they realize that we need this kind of mental break, whether it be this Milan Weekly podcast or that 2.5 hours that we're watching a Serie A game. But were you happy to hear like the up guys there at Serie A saying, no, you know what, we're going to keep it on even if there's a lockdown?
It depends, because it's obviously a decision that they take that they have already taken, right? I would like to see them be more transparent with the clubs. What I don't want, Vinny, and you know what, I'm going to disagree with you here. What I don't want is I don't want the Napoli and Juve thing to be all over again every week. And I don't want the Campionato that the winner is going to win and is going to have an asterisk because Juventus had to play 4 games with the Primavera squad and lost.
Okay. So I get what you're saying, but reading into this whole Napoli and Juventus, I'm sorry. Whether Juventus should have just said we don't want to win this way here, but Napoli's at fault here. And looking at the stats, there's no other teams that did this, Steve, right? Saying that they decided not to leave before the actual, city saying, no, you can't leave because of COVID. I think this is a one-off. To me, I just feel if Bologna had 14 players and Lazio had all these players they're still playing, why should we give this one-off as a what if this happens again?
No, Genoa is the team with the 14 players. Look, I said it before, and I'm going to keep the same stance. This had to be a league decision, and it did not have to be a Napoli decision or a Juve decision. And I think that Napoli, unfortunately, was unjustly penalized, and they're penalized because Juve was the team that they were playing against. I think if you were going to replace Juve with someone else, the league was going to find some sort of mitigation to not make Napoli lose points. And not only did they lose, they also lost a point, right? And then they went again back to the courts. Their appeal was rejected again this week or last week. I don't remember the weeks anymore. And they're going to go again, and they're going to go to another court process. And just the league looks stupid. And the league loses in all this, right? Because people are looking at Serie A and they're saying you can't even control your own teams.
I would like to know if this has happened in any other kind of leagues. We've seen a guy getting pulled off halftime, Steve, for having COVID and it was a European Championship.
I think it was the Croatian player there, and then now Brozovic has the COVID, right? And who knows who else has it? The thing is that.
But there's no playbook, Steve. There's no playbook for them to say you got to do this, you got to do that. And in the end, I'm with that side. I'm going like, look, let's just live with it. We're gonna have to live with it, right? And people are saying that we're gonna bring this down to 0. But I think the continuation of sports, the NBA has to be the model to follow. I know it's not a perfect world about this whole dome and whatever, but if a professional sports was able to do it. And Serie A seems to saying the same thing. We're not going to stop this and keep on going. And we've seen much worse cases. I'm with them, Steve. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but
no, you can't. Again, we're repeating again the same thing there, and I'm going to tell you again: you cannot compare the NBA to the Serie A. The NBA was a condensed season where they created a bubble, and people they didn't really care that they had to stay there for the people who actually went. Some opted out, and they really didn't care.
But they went on, Steve. They went on.
Okay, so keep 38 players keep 20 teams in a bubble for 38 games.
I said maybe not the bubble, but there's got to be things.
So then there's no other way. There's a way that the league has to come out with rules, but because Serie A is back in the archaic ages, unfortunately, you're never going to get those rules. So it's Serie A, and justly they look stupid and they look idiotic, and it looks like they don't care. And in reality, they don't care. No one cares. Serie A doesn't care. FIFA doesn't care. UEFA Champions League doesn't care.
The almighty dollar talks once again, right, Steve?
There you go.
We're gonna go through a couple of questions. I wanted to read out. This is kind of interesting because it seems like we kind of touch base on it once in a while, Steve. But Colin wanted to say, "Hey guys, so it looks like Donnarumma is on the verge of renewing. If the demand of 10 million are true, I don't want any release clause in the new contract. We are still trying to balance the books for UEFA fair play, and I, for one, don't want to be screwed. As for Hakan, if he's able to play well with Turkey, he can play well with Milan. No excuses now. And if he wants 7 million or more, he needs to prove himself more than the 15 games that he's had since the resumption." And we did touch base on this on Sunday with the guys. And you've had a great run, but Milanistas like you and I remember the last 3 years of what you gave to us. And
there's no way he's getting 7.5.
He's not going to get 7.5, but in the end, and I know Greg on Instagram did touch on this, and we're going to get to his question after, but Donnarumma, let's go with the Donnarumma at 10 million. You think it's possible to not put a clause, a release clause in there? Or if it would have to
it's probably 10 million plus whatever they're paying his brother. So it's not 10 million. It's probably like 11, and he has the best brother in the world. Honestly, like, I tip my hat to Gigio Donnarumma because he's keeping his brother employed. And Milan is going to have to suffer with that contract because,
Mino Raiola, not the Gigio Donnarumma. I'm sorry, dude. That's all Raiola over there. Is he not?
But whatever. Either or. He has to agree with it too, right? He's keeping it. That has to come from Donnarumma. Mino Raiola doesn't care about Antonio Donnarumma. Let's face it.
That's true.
He doesn't care about that.
Raiola saying even Romagnoli, 5 million a year. He's at 3.5 right now. Supposedly, they're asking for 5. I don't think 5 is a problem, but he just needs to. I'm not worried about his performance. I know he's been a little shaky since coming back, but do you have a problem, Steve, with giving Romagnoli 5-6 a year?
No. I would stop at 5, and I don't have a problem with it because he signed in the darkest times of this banter era. So sometimes you gotta give a little bit, but again, we can't get into that situation we were a couple of years ago when we are stuck with these high salaries that no one wants to buy, right? So the Hakan, people are going to tell me, yeah, Steve, but he's been playing well. Like you said, he's been playing well for the last 20 games. Unfortunately, the Serie A Campionato is 38 games, and we need more than that. And he's looking at like Ibra money 7.5 on a turn, right? So I can't justify that. I'm sorry. I like Hakan Çalhanoğlu. I give him props.
But it's not like, Steve, that we have. Well, you know what, Çalhanoğlu, we have Ibrahim Diaz here because Ibrahim Diaz is not a done deal, guys. Right? There was a loan with option. Like if he plays well, I think Real Madrid is just going to go. Yeah, we're just going to give it to you for whatever money. We can't play that card. Am I wrong?
No, you can't play that card. You have no option to buy.
Exactly. So we'll see how these things come through. Steve, before we take it into the other questions, I wanted to try something different with you today, right? Guys, I don't know if you're very familiar. We got some suggestions how to maybe, pep up the podcasts this day in history or anything like that. But you know what I was telling Steve? I have this fantastic book here, Steve. Can you see it? 1001's Storie e curiosità sul grande Milan from, what's his name here? Giuseppe Di Cera. There is 1,001 different quirks, different facts of history, Steve. So if you wanted, before we get into the Twitter question, until we get into the Patreon questions, how about we do something every single week? You give me a number from 1 to 1,001. I'll read it out. Obviously, it's in Italian, and then we'll translate it ourselves. What do you think?
Go for it.
Steve, give me a number between 1 and 1,001.
3.
Seriously?
Yes.
That's the best you could do? All right.
It's Maldini's number.
That's a good one.
You're reading a Milan book.
Primi dubbi, il 13 o il 16 di dicembre. So first doubts, it says, the 13th or 16th of December. Il 16 dicembre, il giorno tradizionalmente riportato dalle annali per indicare la nascita del Milan, non è univocamente accettato da tutti gli storici. So basically saying that December 16th is not agreed upon all the historians of Milan's birth. Anche perché non esiste un atto costitutivo che sia arrivato ai nostri giorni e non è un problema da poco. La mancanza di un documento ufficiale contribuisce ad accrescere la leggenda del Milan, in cui i Natali si perdono genericamente in uno degli ultimi giorni dell'ultimo dicembre del popolo. Let me see what they say. Qualche storico del calcio, this and that, basically... Improvvisa senza particolari spiegazioni. Il 13 dicembre, se il 13 Santa Lucia e non il 16, ma questa è solo un'ipotesi. So basically saying that it might be not the 16th of December, Steve, but possibly the 13th. But this was your historical facts. Hold on. See, number 3, Steve, number 3. But you do have 1,000 to go through here, and it's a fantastic book. I picked it up on Amazon. Very nice pictures, very nice illustrated, and very nice. It wasn't that expensive from over there, but at least we could learn a lot of great stuff in here. I'm sure Tommy or Facebook Frank would love these little quirks on here. Reading tanto as mangia cakes. My reading Italian is not that good there. Steve, I asked the patrons to try to do something different instead of writing us the questions, to send us voice clips. And Steve, of all the patrons, of all of them, guys, I'm sorry. I love you guys for supporting us, but you let an Interista, the only guy, to send me a voice clip. But Steve, he's a patron. We got to read it. We got to not read his question, but let's listen. Let's listen to his question to our friend Francis. What is he saying?
Hey guys, it's Francis the Snake. Quick question. I want to hear you guys on the topic of what could have been a Milan midfield of Kessie, Bennacer, and Locatelli. How do you guys feel seeing Locatelli play at such a level for Sassuolo and for La Nazionale? Could he have been the missing piece to really take this Milan side as a contender for the Scudetto? Thank you. Keep up the good work.
So I don't know if he's trying to push buttons, Ahmad. Here's the book. Here's the book right here. Oh, so there we go. But Steve, is he okay? Can you tell me in which world is Locatelli a superstar?
He's not a superstar, but we made a mistake.
Okay, why did we make?
You got it because you got to give people time.
You would have kept Locatelli instead of taking Tonali right now.
Would have saved you a lot of money. Not really doing much different. Actually, they're doing a lot of things differently. Locatelli starting for the national team. Locatelli starts for Sassuolo.
He's starting for
Tonali
Sassuolo.
right now.
But I'm saying he's in Sassuolo. Why didn't no big teams go after Locatelli? Why does everybody think that Locatelli is, I'm sorry, Italy's talent right now, right? I'm sorry, guys. This is unpopular opinion. But if Locatelli is starting the national team, I'm sorry. Our players in Italy are above average. I'm sorry. I don't think Locatelli is a, oh my God, what would have been a midfield of Bennacer and Kessie and Locatelli? I'm sorry. That's my personal opinion.
You got to start off by watching the games. That would be number one. That would help you a bit with your thing. You're falling in that bitter Milan Twitter kind of bucket, right? Guys,
you gotta tell me one Milanista. You as a Milanista in the last 3-4 years, you've regretted getting rid of Locatelli.
No, you don't. You can't regret that. If I would have known that he would have turned out to the player that he is now, maybe I would have made a lot of money, to be very honest, because I told him to keep it. I don't think, and I said it before, I didn't think that Locatelli was da Milan. But now playing and playing at Sassuolo and getting the minutes and playing with a team that works very well and works around the system, guys, he starts every game. He doesn't make mistakes.
Does he start in this Milan?
He possibly can start in this Milan, yes.
Come on. He doesn't start in this Milan. Seriously? He starts in this Milan.
He starts in this Milan, yes.
So whose job is he taking?
It's
If they're
Benacer,
going with Benacer and Kessie, whose job is he taking?
it's Benacer, Kessie, and Locatelli.
So we're changing formation.
No, you don't need to change formation.
No, I'm sorry, Steve. I don't think Locatelli's.
Have you watched? Okay, I'm gonna be very straightforward with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
You do this often. Have you
Yes.
watched? Have you
I have
watched
not
Locatelli at Sassuolo? Okay,
No,
so
I have
stop.
not.
Have you watched Locatelli in the Nazionale?
Yes.
Have you watched?
Yes, I have. Nazionale, I have. I'm
Which
not saying
game?
he's no good.
Which
I'm
game?
not saying the last 3 games that they played, I watched it on UEFA TV, cast to TV. I watched it.
You gotta check your binoculars, my friend.
Okay, that's why we're
Look,
here.
and this
We're
is the thing. You know, this is the problem with Milan fans out there, and I'm gonna put you in that bucket. We can't
in that bucket.
we can't admit to mistakes, and we've made a shit ton of mistakes.
Oh, I've admitted to mistakes.
We are easily wait. Let me finish.
Okay.
We're very easy to admit a mistake that doesn't affect us negatively. Kalinic, was it a good signing? Absolutely not. But Kalinic sucks. So everybody agrees on that.
Yeah.
But Locatelli, I personally made a huge mistake. I didn't think he was that Milan. I didn't think he could take us to the next level. I didn't think he would ever start in La Nazionale. But if you watch this weekend, he was composed. He was on the ball. He was put in tough situations. He got out of those tough situations.
When you have a team that's on top and doesn't really need a win, and he's got come on, Steve. No, I'm sorry. Locatelli, you might, you know what? A mistake 3-4 years ago, I'll give you that much. Not in this Milan now. I'm sorry, not in this Milan.
And you could see by the comments. You could see Locatelli is a Biglia 2.0 squared. So that means is a Locatelli is a Biglia 4. 2.0 square is 4.
Yes. So you're saying that.
So he's 4 times the player of Biglia.
And
but that's the problem, guys. That's the problem. We didn't have a team, and it's okay. It happens. It happens all the time, guys. We did it with Aubameyang, but we had a team that was winning.
But
that was a mistake.
He was not kept with a shitty team. What does that tell you, Steve?
Yeah, but we needed money. We needed money. Money. You think they wanted to sell Locatelli? They couldn't find a place, and they needed money. You think they wanted to sell Cutrone? They couldn't find a place, and they needed money. Cutrone, no one's saying it's a big mistake anymore. People were crying. Oh my God, Cutrone.
We never said it was a mistake.
No, not we. I'm just saying people in general.
All of the
crying about Cutrone
have not been mistakes because nobody's fucking scored so far, other than Piontek.
Guys, the thing is that you'll make mistakes, but then they're gonna come back, and it happens. It happens to every team. It happens to every team. Look at the things. He's a very good player.
No, he is a very good player, but to me, I'm sorry, what he did at Milan, yes, he was very young, and what he's done so far, maybe he's good at Sassuolo, but that was not going to be, what Francis is saying is that I love it that he got us to argue about this, but I'm sorry, Steve, I'm not with Locatelli at all. And if Locatelli was on this team, he would take, I think who I mentioned, he would be taking Tonali's position on the bench. That's the way I see it. Steve,
I disagree completely.
Thanks to Greg, live on the show, a newest patron, Greg subscribing, and I believe it's the same Greg that just sent us a question. Greg, I figured out how to work Instagram, but he was asking if Hakan chooses not to resign and Diaz is still on a dry loan, what are our options for a number 10 role?
Go find someone else.
Because there's nobody else, right?
You better find someone else.
Do you bring in a guy? I'm not saying Modric per se, but do you bring in a guy that has that experience that for maybe a year or two, or do you just flip the coin on somebody?
They're gonna have to make a decision. They're gonna have to go down that road, right? They're gonna have to go down that road where it's again that thing, guys. You're gonna have to make a decision. You want to pay for Brahim Diaz? You're going to have to roll the dice, and you're going to have to make sure that Real Madrid accepts your price, because you're not in a position to overpay.
How much do you think he would go for, Steve? Let's say he has a great season. You think he goes over 25?
Yeah, for sure. They're going to want their money back from Tio Hernandez. It's 7 podcasts in a row, I tell you. They're not going to let him go for cheap. they're going to want him at their money. And I don't think we have the money.
Soboslai, maybe Shoboslai, whatever the way you call him, but
25 million in January. You better start now. If you're not convinced that Hakan is going to resign, and you're not convinced that Brahim Diaz is going to A, want to stay, and B, Real Madrid is going to want to sell him, and you're convinced with Super Sly, spend the 25 million in January and let's give him half a season.
Makes sense. Makes sense to me. Let's take a look at Patreon, excuse me. And we had Sabrina for a first time asking us a question, Steve. So let me see what she wrote to us here. She's like, no one wants to hear my voice. I'll ask my question here. I told you Sabrina would love to hear your voice next time. Send us a voice note. If Netflix/Amazon were to do a documentary about Milan, what behind-the-scenes content would you be most interested in seeing? The business side, like transfers, or sports side, like the locker room and how the players interact? I really like this question, Steve, because I'm torn. I
have a question to her question.
Yes. She's on there.
I know she's on. That's why I have a question to her question. I want to know, is it this Milan, the Paolo Maldini Boban Milan, or is it the Yong Hong Lee Milan, or is it the Silvio Berlusconi Milan? Because that's going to change my answer. Guaranteed.
So you know what, Sabrina, can we go with the Berlusconi? Because I think the Berlusconi eras are what everybody's the most familiar with. Because obviously, if you go with Yong Hong Lee, you're going to want to know about the back end and this and that. But let's take the Berlusconi era, Steve. Do we take the winning Berlusconi era? Do we take the last after 2011?
No, if it has to be a Netflix documentary, it would have to be the complete journey of Berlusconi. I would want the backroom stuff. I would want what happens behind the scenes. The winning, we know they won, but I want to know how they got there. The signings, the Van Basten signing, the Gullit signing. I'm very interested in that. Then going forward and continuing to build that behemoth. That never won the Champions League there, but the Nesta, the Stam, and the Maldini back line. Guys, you need to know how that happened, right? So I would go there. If it would be this Milan, I would want to know what's happening in the locker room.
And the locker room,
who Zlatan is slapping around.
But definitely how Berlusconi made it happen back then. And I know Baresi had an interview this week. Steve's talking about the mentality of Ibra reminds him of the Van Bastens, the Hullits, and reminding him about this first year with Saki, where at the beginning of the season nobody gave him a chance, and it's quite an interesting read from over there. But it would be nice to have a Milan special, especially was it on Netflix that they had a Silvio. They were following around on his house, and I would really like to get to know Silvio a bit better because he's quite the eccentric character there, Silvio.
Yeah, and it's not only Netflix. Prime does a really good too. They did it with Tottenham and Man City. It was pretty cool.
Paulie on Patreon saying, Vinny and Steve, if you had to choose this season, would you rather AC Milan qualify for the Champions League by winning the Europa or by finishing fourth in Serie A? Forza Milan.
But I'm guaranteed, because if I'm guaranteed, I'll take a trophy and I'll qualify for Champions League. I don't care.
We'll take the Europa League, right?
Of course. I don't care about finishing fourth. I could finish seventh, but if I win the Europa League, I still make the Champions League.
Yeah, definitely. And even the money that will be, money is not as much as we would have fans in the stands, but working our way all the way to the finals, that will make definitely Europa League. Tommy's there. You heard Van Basten and Gullit. You had to give a couple of comments. Steve, to Twitter we go. Not that many, but we're still going to take them. Who do we have here? Concord saying, I'm happy with Calabria's performance lately just to increase his value and sell him because I never see him as a top-class right back for a team that wants to compete for everything. Do you agree? Follow-up question after, but to sell him, let's be honest, Steve, Calabria is never going to go for 25, 30, 35 million dollars unless I'm not a professional in the transfer market, but
we don't have a right back to replace him.
That would be one thing there. But would you be okay in selling a guy like Calabria?
If I have a better right back, yeah.
If
Calabria
not,
is not a right back. It's not a Champions League right back, guys.
no.
Let's face it. He's and I'm very tough on Calabria because I think we've seen what we can see from Calabria, and I think this year he's playing well, and last year he didn't play well, but the year before that he played well. So are we gonna get a 1 year good, 1 year bad? It's not gonna help us, right? We need consistency at the right back, and I think we need to upgrade there. I'm still in favor of upgrading that and sell. That's Pool Valenza, especially from Calabria, who comes from the academy. It sucks, but yes, it's something that is part of the business now, not part of the sport. It's part of the business.
You think Conti can play that right position?
No, obviously Conte can't. He's getting outplayed by Calabria right now.
What is happening with him?
It's maybe not back from injury, but
who knows, right?
That's the depth we have.
And then was asking, also, guys, set pieces, a problem that we have had for centuries when we are going to do something about that. 6 out of 7 goals that we conceded this season is from set pieces.
Whoa. Centuries, not centuries, please.
For also 46 corners for us this season, 0 goals. And when are we going to benefit from that? I think if we had to be critical of something, Steve, this year, it's got to be set pieces, right? Is it alarming for you, like not only, let's say, giving up these set piece goals, but not having a single goal in all that time? That's scary, is it not? Do you take a lot of importance, or is the fact that we're winning all these games hiding or blinding us from that?
Win is a win.
So you don't care. You don't see any issues for.
Let me ask you this question.
Yes.
If we qualify for Champions League and have not scored a goal from a corner, would it bother you?
No.
So then who cares? If we win the Scudetto and we didn't score a goal from a free kick.
Okay, let's reverse it. Reverse it. The way we've been taking these goals off set pieces, especially off corners. Maybe defending better.
Well, you have to defend, guys. It's not rocket science here. You're 10 on 11.
So you no matter how they come, I don't give a shit. Just give me the goals.
I don't care. And on set pieces, they have to be better. Look, the set pieces goals that we've given up and that we've seen go in. Tiramisu let in one because he missed it completely.
Yeah, that's true.
It's all mistakes, guys. It's all mistakes. It's not something that is going to happen or hopefully doesn't happen every week. But, we've been keeping clean sheets and we've been dealing with corners and we've been actually more positive on the defensive side where we'll actually give up a corner because we know that we can get out of it, right? So
yeah,
the team is going to have ups and downs. They're not going to go a full year without letting in a goal from a corner. And are we going to score a goal from a corner? There's probably going to be one stupidity goal that we're going to get there. But in the end, who cares? As long as you score and you win, no one cares. No one cares. Those are the stats that drive me crazy. 950 corners. The game finished 1-0. Who cares?
In the history books, it's always going to go down like that, right? You're right on that one. Steve, taking over. I know we have Italy upcoming there on Wednesday. Do you want to take a couple of minutes to talk about what you've seen so far, Italy-wise? I know that we got to win on Wednesday, as you were talking there before the chat. But Italy seeming a lot more united. It's not the Italy that we saw from 4 years ago, but I don't know what it is, Steve. For me, I'm watching this team and, I'm obviously liking a lot better than what I used to, saw 4 years ago. But am I wrong for, I'm still not convinced?
No, you should be convinced because this is a completely different team from the last 4 years ago. 4 years ago, when we didn't qualify for 2018, we had Ventura, and it's funny, I was listening to a podcast today and basically was lost and didn't know how to use these players and wasn't picking the right players. We needed a goal against Sweden. Instead of bringing on Insigne, he wanted to bring on Daniele De Rossi. That's the coaching decision that we made. Am I a big Mancini fan? Was I always a big Mancini fan? I would be lying to you that I said yes, but I'm not. But what he has done is he goes and finds these players and he gives them a chance, and he puts them in the right position, and he has some sort of plan A, plan B. And guys, in the midfield, we haven't seen this much depth in an Italy midfield in a very long time, and they're very young. And talking with the Snake over the weekend, I said it's too bad we didn't make that World Cup. It would have seasoned these players a bit. And yes, maybe not all of them would have made it, and some would have made it and sat on the bench. But it would have given them some more international experience. And now we're going into 2021, which is Euro 2020, but they might not have any fans. So that experience is going to be different for these guys again.
Yeah.
Once you get back to fans, it's a whole different ball game, right? So, I wore this one on purpose, this jacket on purpose tonight, because it's the green one and it has the history, like I've explained before. It was a one-off. They made a green jersey for Italy and showing their youth in the World Cup. And, it was really something that was incredible this weekend, because we had Jorginho, we had Locatelli, we had Barella. Guys, they bossed a very, very, very good Poland team. And you know what? Poland didn't show up. Let's be just very straightforward. Poland didn't show up.
But that's my whole discussion with you, Steve. Is this Italy team, and I'm happy to see them this way, that we're not playing the conventional way that we've grown to watch. I'm sorry, Steve, I don't see this team beating a Germany or a Brazil if it was coming into a World Cup. That's just the way I like it progressing. I just afraid that people will expect seeing this. Right? How many games did they go without losing a single game?
It's
right?
It's at 20 now.
It's at 20. So
yeah.
I
don't know what will convince you. You're convinced with a Milan that went 20 games.
Who says I was convinced that we were going to win the Scudetto and everything?
No, I'm not convinced, but you're convinced that they're progressing in the right direction. But you're not with Italy.
But I'm not saying I'm not with Italy. I'm afraid.
You just said you're not convinced.
I'm not convinced that they would win a finals. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, but who's saying they're going to win a final?
I'm afraid.
You're just saying that they're better than they were, and it's a different Italy.
Yes, 100%. I'm just afraid that the results, people will know. My expectations are we need to go all the way down. If they lose in the quarterfinals, people should just see that as a progress. That's what I'm trying to get at. And people are going to shit on this team.
And they will not. Italy doesn't have that progress, Vince. Italy is win or nothing. If they don't win, it's a failure. And that's why we have 4 stars on our crest. For the United States, it's get in and we feel happy. No offense to any of the United States people. But Italy doesn't have that luxury. We don't have that luxury to go in a tournament and say, you know what, Vinny, Vincenzo, voglio finire quarto questo torneo. They're going to throw tomatoes at you. Italy goes into the games. Italy goes to win, Vinny. And now he's setting himself up to go to win. He's stacked in the midfield. Defense looks awesome. Gigio Donnarumma, I think he touched the ball 3 times against Poland and he made 1 mistake.
But we haven't faced a top caliber team.
You played Poland. You played Netherlands.
They're a top quality team, Steve. Come on, man. Give me a
Why
German.
not?
Poland is
Why not? Why not? But how long have you not watched international soccer?
Poland.
We didn't win the World Cup. We didn't make the World Cup last year.
Yeah, we didn't
the last time around
because we fucked up.
Yeah, but we didn't make it. So now you're playing in the Nations League.
Poland,
you're playing top quality teams.
Poland will make it to a Final Four in the Euros.
It's very possible, depending the draw.
I'm just saying is that I haven't seen them play with a top quality country, whether it be Germany. And yes, I know James.
Yeah, but Germany's on the way down.
We'll see.
So they're not. Then you're going to find another excuse. Italy looks at one team. They care about themselves.
Yeah.
They care. Italy played Estonia and looked like they didn't know how to pass a ball.
Even Tommy's correcting me that Poland's been playing good. I just don't know, guys. It's just
you know what? But that's the problem, though. That's the problem. You have to watch the game for what the game is.
But Steve, what I'm trying to share with you my personal opinion. Can I?
Yeah, but it's wrong because this game here against Poland was you win, you're capo di serie.
Yeah.
You lose, you're not advancing.
All right, everybody. Even Sergio's even coming in saying that. See, we like to discuss and.
But you have hard head like Luca Calabrese, though. You have to look at the game for what it is. Stack them. The problem that this Italy has, and I would like them if someone can get this to Mancini as he's recovering from COVID. We need someone to score goals. This game against Poland should have been easily 4-5-0.
And that's what Faz was saying, right? We need that striker that's going to fit to this.
Yeah. So someone we're gonna give Immobile another chance, but please, someone make him wear the Lazio jersey underneath the Azzurri jersey. And if it's not Immobile, let's give it to Belotti. And Belotti, make him wear his Torino jersey, because when they wear those jerseys, those guys, they score. So wear it underneath the Italy jersey. I don't care, but score goals, because Belotti yesterday was terrible. And we changed him for Stefano Okaka. In the Euro, if you want to be serious, no disrespect to Stefano Okaka, he's not going to be there. So we're looking at Immobile, Belotti, and Caputo. And if Caputo is the Schilacci of 2021/2020, we're going to be okay.
I'll take that.
We can't go a tournament where we're waiting for a penalty. We're waiting for something like that to happen.
Those days are over. I agree. Those days are over, Steve. Those days
are over. You got to go. And yesterday, we were full pedal to the metal. And what I liked about it, and what was different than how we played Netherlands the last time, is that when we put Poland down, we put our foot on their throat, and they could not get back into this game.
I think what it comes down to, and I know Jan and Diana and Vinny trying to say Italy can't hang with the France, the Spain, the Germany. Jan, you know what I think? You know what I think it is with me is that I got, from all the years we've known each other, Steve. I've taken days off of work for World Cup games and this, and it's like since this whole fiasco. I'm just, it's like I'm afraid to buy in again. And I think
afraid of what?
I'm afraid of buying in again and getting my heart broken that they're going to get fucking eliminated in the first.
It's an elimination tournament.
Yes, I understand, but I don't
want. There's one team that could win, Vince. There's only one team that can win.
All right. I guess I gotta be a bit more open to the idea, but again, that's just my personal opinion. I'm not a journalist.
Then if you go with that attitude, then you just don't watch soccer anymore.
Of course, I watch soccer, Steve.
So you're set up to be disappointed all the time.
If I'm set up to be disappointed when they help me out, at least I'm happy for.
But it's Italy. When have you not been disappointed? We went to a 2006 World Cup where we tied America, the United States.
Yes.
I tipped my hat to them some odd years later of the game that they played. Tipped my hat because they were scrapping for every ball. But back home, back in Italy, they were like, wow, we tied the United States of America. They didn't get that the United States was coming up and they were making changes to their system and they were making changes to their program to advance. They don't care about that. In Italy, they care about winning. And the only way you're going to win is if you come home with that trophy. Loss in the final, loss in the semifinal, it's a failure for them. That's why they demand so much. They can't come into a tournament saying we want to finish fourth. No way.
No. Anyways, I like this kind of discussion. We like these heated discussions. But see, only like 3-4 questions and ready for 45 minutes in, Steve. Anything happened, guys? Thanks for this is what it's all about discussing. It's not about throwing everybody under the bus and fuck you and this and that. We just like to discuss this.
Vince Mancini, I'm an answer to this question. Vince, if you haven't watched the show in a long time, and if you watch it every week. When I put my head to something, I'm telling you that I will not stop. Because I have to continue to help him get back on that track. You cannot be afraid to watch Italy. You can't be afraid to watch.
I'm not.
But you just said it. You said you don't want to watch and get disappointed.
No, I'm saying that I'm afraid to get back onto the bandwagon. That's what I'm trying to.
You should have never got off. If you got off the bandwagon.
Steve, what I'm trying to get at is that before, when Italy was playing, everything was changed in my schedule. I need to watch Italy. And then when all this shit happened from the 2010 World Cup and everything, and I said, this is a good thing. It's a good thing that we got knocked out so we could get back on track and rebuild and this and that. It's since that day. And then, oh, look at this team here. Oh, my God. And people seem to forget that because we won 20 games in a row, Italy's back on top of the world. No, fuck, we're not on top of back of the world. That's
No
the
one
way
said they're on top of the world. No one said they're on top of the world.
I'm just
It's
trying.
just the rebuild is done.
The
rebuild is done.
Not done. The rebuild will take time. When you have a guy like Leonardo Bonucci saying that his body's taking too much of a fault, he has to go back to fucking Torino as an Italy player. Fuck you. They still have to rebuild in this fucking team. I'm sorry.
The rebuild is done, my friend.
Il corpo mi fa male. My body's taking a toll on me. How do you even say shit like that?
But that's the type of player it is. It's not the same type of player that you're used to watching. This is not 1994 anymore. And to be very honest with you, and I'm the last one. I'm the last one to defend Bonucci.
Yeah.
But that's our center back pairing. Unfortunately, that's what it is.
Yeah,
and you know what? In 1994, we had no problem with Franco Baresi there. We played him with half a knee. He played the game of his life against Brazil. That's what we need.
Yeah.
The World Cup it's a period of time where everything needs to align. So you can set yourself up there. I don't want to hear off the bandwagon, on the bandwagon.
No,
when you're Italy all the time.
That was a bad terminology. And Jamie's saying if you're afraid to believe that you don't deserve the opportunity to celebrate what we can. What I'm trying to share here, guys, is that
you got yourself in the shit. This is almost as worse as Maldini as a right back. Almost as worse.
It's fine. The only thing is that I want to have that passion back. That's the only thing I'm saying. I do not watch Italy games the way I used to. I love Italy. I love watching the Azzurri. Whether they're on TV or streaming, I'll always watch them. I just want that passion back and not being like I want to be, top of those top 10 teams in the world, top 5 teams in the world. And it's just like I just want to be back there. That's it. That's the only thing I was trying to share. Sorry, guys. Maybe my words are not good coming out of my mouth, and I love it that we're having this discussion like this. But anyways, yeah, fuck that snake Bonucci. At least that really fucking grind my gear.
ADC Sports Club.
Yes, I think that's Greg, by the way.
Well, Greg.
Yes.
Please, guys. As much as we give Immobile and Belotti the hard time. Guys, Belotti is the capo cannoniere of Italy.
That's true.
I don't know what to tell you. That is the number 9, guys. Does he score with Italy? No. But go find me someone else, guys. I don't care.
You know, Luca Toni again.
Yeah, but it's exactly that, though. Like, that's the problem. Like, what do you want? Do you want Mancini to invent a number 9? No. He has a guy who scored 36 goals last year.
Yeah.
36 goals, guys. That's a lot of goals.
That's crazy. And that I'll give it to you. That's
and the people are gonna say, yeah, it was a watered down Serie A. Okay, come to Serie A, score me 36 goals. He put in Ronaldo there. Don't see Ronaldo scoring 36 goals.
That's right.
Don't see Ronaldo scoring 30. Messi doesn't even want to come here because he's scared. I'm telling you, he's scared. His legacy will not change. His legacy will not change because he's a freak of nature. But he will get a reality shot. And with age and everything, might not be the Messi that we saw at Barcelona, but I think there's going to be a shock there.
Ronaldo to adapt himself, but hey, if the Scaputo can become the Schilacci, like you're saying, of 1990, I'm all for that. Like Asa.
It's who's in form, guys. It could be Immobile in form, it could be Belotti in form. I saw Moise Kean in form. Guys, it could be anybody. In the World Cup, it's who's in form. You have 4 games. You're in a group of 4.
True.
That's all. You got to get out of that group. Once you get out of that group, 2006, we got out of the group. Schedule helped us. Made it all the way down to the final. The 4th star.
1982 helped us out as well, too, scoring 1 goal and getting out of that group stage. But
understand? So anything could happen.
In the end, I don't know how many thumbs down we're gonna get for over a year, but I always like these discussions with Steve and Vinny, and we do have sometimes some different opinions. And I love that Sergio watching directly on Facebook. Remember when Sergio he made it Steve in the WhatsApp group about 15 seseconds?
Yeah.
But guys, I just want to take the time to thank you all once again. Steve, anything? I know I spoke about brioche. I know I spoke about indigestion. Anything up to anything happened this week? I spoke about Bonucci. I spoke about Serie A. For me, it was a good feeling, saying they're not gonna stop even though there's a pandemic. Anything come to mind?
Yeah. So there's 2 things. One, it's a bit personal. It's Puma. completely demoralized with their sizing of their new zip ups. Guys, I'm being very honest with you, Vince. I'm being very honest. This
No, I
here,
know. Yeah,
what
I'm
I'm
not
wearing, what
situation.
no, but what I'm wearing here is a double X Puma. Okay, double X Puma. I bought the exact same jacket. It almost looks exactly the same. It's Milan jacket this year. Vince, I can't even zipper it up. It's not double X, Vince. That's the only problem. It's like, and I know we joke, myself and Frankie sometimes, for Facebook Frank, about the jersey not fitting. But this is getting ridiculous. You can't even wear your size. There's something terribly wrong with Puma sizing.
Like North American and European
I
sizes.
have no idea, but it's really bad. I bought it at Evangelista. I bought the white one and the black one. Cannot even zipper it up. I look like Luca Piccolo, to be very honest.
Was it like that time David came to the bar and he was walking around like this? Hey guys, I mean that's the New Jersey. Yeah, what is it? Extra large. And he's like tight fitted every time. Like the guy's not an extra large guy.
It's crazy. It's very bad. Anyway, that's number one. Number two, gotta be Lotito. Oh my God, we've outdone ourselves and said, yeah, again, embarrassing himself, comparing the coronavirus with the bacteria that women have in their vagina. And I'm not even going to paraphrase this. You guys have to go see it. This is him talking about the coronavirus and why Lazio have all these false positives and these different results for their coronavirus testing. Yeah, that's Italy at its best, man. Italy at its most disgusting. Claudio Lotito is my indigestion of the week, my real indigestion. Puma just cost me money, but now Mariucci is going to probably buy my track jackets because they're going to fit him. And I will not be able, until I shed some weight, be able to fit in these wonderful zip-ups.
Do some DDP yoga, Steve. DDP yoga will get it back on track there. Let's close off with this, Steve. Favorite Azzurri jersey of our lifetime?
Me? Yeah. 1998.
98?
Yep.
Is it? I'm going to go with the 2000 Kappa. I don't know what it is with that 2000. Remember when they had the...
No, I couldn't fit into it. It doesn't make my... It didn't even work.
Baby blue with the Kappa on the side, and they had like the longer sleeves. And because, remember, that was the technology. If they pulled on the
shirt...
What
did I say, 1998 or 1994?
98, you told.
No, my bad. 1994. Sorry.
The 94 USA World Cup?
Yeah, that's my
What
favorite.
year did we have Diadora? Was that 96
1994.
No.
1994 was Diadora, Vince. Please don't tell me. I'm going to go get the jersey right now.
About the Diadora jacket that had the Italian...
1994, 1990, they were both Diadora. 1996 was the Euro in England, and we had Nike, the forbidden jersey. The jersey that had Italy on the ass.
With the gold little trimmings over here. That I had that jersey. I had that jersey from over there. But yes, it was 1994.
1994 is the nicest jersey. Sorry, guys.
With the Diadora, but yeah, that one there. But I remember the Euros. I just remember like now we're gonna be able to tell who pulls our shirts, and that really helped us out in the South Korean World Cup there.
Great.
But guys, thank you so very much for joining us once again. Love the conversation, and love this back and forth with the fans, and that's what it's all about, guys. Having a conversation, be able to discuss our likes, our passions, and why I'm wrong or why Stevie's right or either or.
But you're always wrong. You're always wrong.
Thank you very much, and that's why you're my best friend, and that's why we talk about this kind of shit. But guys, thank you so very much once again. We'll see if Euro 2012. What was Euro 2012's jersey? Euro 2012. Who won in 2012? Oh, he's talking about when... no, that was when we lost to France. When was that one there? Faz probably has a couple of jerseys, and he probably has away in that one there. But guys, honestly, thank you so very much for joining us. Right under an hour. And Steve, any closing words for anybody?
No, thank you, everybody. Have yourself a fantastic night. I better win my fantasy football. Let's go.
And now we have to put the video. Buonasera, guys. Ciao.
Ciao.